guys, so we're headed on our road trip, day 2. We're headed into the museum. Outside the museum, they had some cool statues and a fun little cutout that we had to take a picture in first. Today's road trip is in Stark County, so we started out in Dickinson at the Badlands Dinosaur Museum and Dickinson Museum Center. This place definitely exceeded our expectations. We just loved looking at all the fossils, and the huge dinosaur exhibit in the middle of the room was truly fascinating. Aside from all the paleontology, they had a whole other part of the building on local history, telling stories about the railroad expansion, resettlement of immigrants, and more. Now we're headed to Market Press for coffee. We drove to the fairly new shopping center on the northwest side of Dickinson and started our shopping with some coffee. I can tell this is a very popular stop for how busy both the drive-thru and inside were mid-morning on a Tuesday. After that delicious treat, we walked over to out of town to shop for some cute clothes. They had a great selection of jewelry, women's clothing, baby clothes, and I really liked their handbags too. After finding some great items there, we headed to Salt Kitchen. We didn't really need anything from this store, but thought we'd take a look around. They had about anything you could ever need in a kitchen, plus more. We did end up buying a couple treats, which you'll see later in the video. At this point, we were getting ready for lunch, so we drove over to Blue 42 to get a bite to eat. The weather was so nice out, so we sat in their outdoor seating and had it all to ourselves. There was a ton to choose from on their menu, but I ended up getting the Great Hambino, and the girls shared honey barbecue wings with fries. It really hit the spot for what we were looking for, but apparently it wasn't enough, because when we got to the car, we had to open up our treats from Salt Kitchen. The orange soda was downed very quickly, and if you can't tell by our reactions, the Dubai chocolate bar was so delicious. We drove east of Dickinson for our next stop, which was the Taylor Nursery. Inside their store was a variety of outdoor decor, as well as a back room full of boutique-like clothing. The nursery had quite the selection of plants outside and even more in their greenhouse. From succulents to flowers to perennials, they had it all. We really enjoyed this hidden stop where we could wander in a peaceful environment. We went back inside to check out before saying goodbye to the nursery and heading to Richardton. Another must-see in this area is Assumption Abbey. This Benedictine monastery was founded back in 1893 by a monk from Switzerland and is such a beautiful building. Okay, so now we're walking around. We decided to take a stroll around the property just to see how big it really is. To our surprise, there were numerous other buildings scattered across the property, and the view from the back was gorgeous. Our next stop was Patterson Lake to cool down. We brought along a couple inflatable paddleboards to take out on the water. It was a little warm out to be pumping these things up, but thankfully we found some shade to do it. We followed the path down to the beach and put our paddleboards in the water. We didn't really feel like pumping a third one up, so those two shared and I got my own. The water was really nice, and the longer we stayed out, the calmer it got. Patterson Lake was the perfect place to stop, and we had a lot of fun there. We even checked out their parks and workout equipment before leaving. Next, we hit the road for our final stop on today's road trip. This is the Pheasant Country Golf Course, which is in South Hart. We decided to just hit on the driving range for today, but don't judge us too much because we don't really know what we're doing, but you gotta start somewhere. Although we're not the best, I think this actually really helped us improve, and we had a lot of fun doing it. Or maybe I spoke too soon. That's all I have for this road trip, but stick around if you want, and maybe comment some pointers for us. Thanks for sticking around. See you next time.